Venters, what would you do if 3 teenage girls were chasing after you, hell-bent on ending your life? Now here's a part 2 to that question. What would you do if 3 teenage girls were hell-bent on ending your life, chasing you through your house, chasing you down the street? One of them hits you with a brick. The other 2 are trying to take you out with sharp knives that they got from your kitchen. What would that make you think? Well, check this out. An unnamed woman in Houston, Texas, Harris County strikes again, gets chased through her home by her 14, her 15, and her 16-year-old daughters because she disconnected the Wi-Fi. Is that the craziest thing you've ever heard of, or what? This happened today. Not today. This happened the other day on Sunday in Houston, Texas. This woman was within an inch of losing her life, but luckily nobody ended up losing their life. And there was a secondary story to this. Apparently grandma lived in the home as well, and she got knocked over by the teenage girls because she was trying to save her daughter, their mom's, life. So here's the thing. Why do I mention this story besides the fact that it's yet again another attempted crime out in Houston, Texas? The reason I mention this is because somewhere during the last 10, 15, 20 years, kids have gotten to the point where they care more about their online access to social media than they do their darn parents and family. I mean, seriously. I remember in the 90s, before everybody started getting online, we would actually make fun of the nerdy kids because the nerdy kids back then were going into these cyber forums. You guys remember hearing about the term cyber sex back in the day? There were people that would literally go into these chat forums, and there was a lot of issues because you'd have like 30 and 40-year-old men talking to teenagers, right? And I'm sure it happened the other way too, where you'd have some women talking to young people as well. But there used to be this term that I don't even hear anymore called cyber sex. Do you guys remember that term back in the day? I never would have thought, as we left the 90s into the early 2000s, I never would have thought in a million years that we would be talking about female children trying to take mom's life for internet access. And here's the crazy thing. Did she do this to upset them like a punishment? Or could it possibly be that she just couldn't afford the payment? We'll never know. They never mentioned anyone's name. But either way, you can kind of imagine this situation. One of the funny things was they asked the neighbors about it, and the neighbors said point blank, yeah, these are our neighbors that are known for doing crazy, weird things, so it's not a shock to us at all. What they don't realize is that more than likely, being that it's Harris County, more than likely those 3 teenage girls are going to be out in no time and right back in the neighborhood. And now they know that they've got a couple neighbors that are talking shit about them. It's not really talking shit, it's just talking to the news, but you know as well as I do, they're going to find out about those neighbors saying those things. I wonder what's going to happen there. There's a disturbing trend that's really been happening a lot lately, and it's this disturbing trend of females doing these horrible, heinous crimes that used to be associated more with the boys. Have you guys noticed this as well? I think we need to start changing our laws to make things tougher on female criminals. And the reason I say this is I feel like my whole life, where a man might have got the death penalty, I feel like women kind of get the benefit of the doubt, right? And they tend to get life in prison or something. Maybe we need to change those numbers and quit giving females the benefit of the doubt, because it sounds to me like they, nowadays, are just as deadly as the men. How do you look at your mom, no matter how irritated she gets you? Because let's be honest, Every single one of us has had at least a handful of times where our parents have irritated us. I'd be willing to bet that none of us ever thought about ending their lives. And if we did, I would like to think that it would be for something far more important than access to the Wi-Fi. And here's another crazy thing. It wasn't like the 16-year-old had it with mom and the 15 and 14-year-old were trying to stop her along with grandma. All three of the women, the girls, went after their mother. Was there a bigger reason than just the Wi-Fi? Could this have been one of those evil stepmother types, even if it was their bio mom, right? Could this have been one of those moms that just went out of their way to antagonize the kids? Does that validate trying to end her life with a kitchen knife? No, obviously not. In case you're wondering, one of the kids hit mom with a brick and kind of gave her a slight injury to the ankle, but nothing life-threatening. I just can't imagine, how do you explain that to your friends and other family members that, hey, I gotta kick out all three kids. They're trying to end my life. As they say in YouTube lore, they're trying to unalive me. Could you imagine watching the news and one of your friends down the street, one of your neighbor friends is like, yeah, they're known for it, just talking crap. It's like, if you're gonna talk crap about somebody, don't talk crap about the neighbor that just tried taking out their mom. If they're willing to take out a family member, do you think they're gonna think twice about taking you out? Oh my goodness, does anybody see what I'm saying? I don't care if it was the smallest little 10-year-old girl. If you know she's got a seed of evil in her and she's willing to unalive her mom, don't say a dang word. They don't even have to hurt you. What if they hurt your house or your vehicle? I would just leave that one. I would leave that one in silence. That's what I would do. All three girls were arrested and charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, and all have been booked in the Harris County Juvenile Facility. The problem with Harris County is even when they have somebody that's literally more violent than this, not that it gets more violent than this, but this Harris County has a way of like not protecting the public at all. And I have a feeling, since they're juveniles, there's probably going to be some sort of law in Texas where, number one, you can't mention their names. That's why we're not getting their names probably. And number two, they're probably going to be back out on the street literally in no time. If I was a victim and the criminals were out in the streets, the last place that I want to live would be Harris County, Texas. They don't give two poops about the victim. They really don't. It seems to me like all they care about is bringing money into their court system. Joni Slow says there's nothing surprising anymore. I think that's what's so crazy about this, Joni Slow. I totally agree with you. Is there anything you can imagine that hasn't been done already? Every time there's something crazy that happens, the only thing that shocks me is that the next story is usually even more crazy. Leanne Juji says, have they thought about who will be paying the bill for the Wi-Fi when their mother's gone? See, that's what doesn't make sense to me about young people. A lot of them seem so emotional, right? They're such a slave to their own emotions and stuff, that what happens is they kind of react without thinking. Because you bring up a great point. If you end up eliminating your mom, there's got to be a piece of you that knows you're going to go to jail. There's got to be another secondary piece of you that knows you're going to end up losing your house and stuff, your whole family, if you eliminate your mom or your dad. Makes absolutely no sense. What's the old saying? Don't bite the hand that feeds you. These three girls are guilty of biting the hand that fed them, or trying to slice and dice the hand. AMAC 23567 says no man in the house. Enough said. I think that you'd have to agree with that. I think we as a people should get to the point where we collectively try to do our best to make it lucrative for young people to stay married. Because every time there's kids growing up with their father not in the house, is it just me, or is it just an automatic recipe for disaster? Every single one of these troubled kids, I mean, not every single one, but doesn't it seem like 95% of them are in a single parent household? And why is our court system always giving the children to the mother if they have such a horrible, how can you say this, Jesse? Single moms have a really bad track record. It's not like you can look at single moms and say, oh my God, they are just head and shoulders above single fathers. I'd be willing to bet single parent households where the dad is the parent, I'd be willing to bet that they're probably having better success rates than the single moms. Now, would I have thought that 20 years ago? No, I really wouldn't have. But we live in a world today where women are just more selfish than ever. And I mean on a new level. If you're my age group, I'm not going to put you in the same category as I would these 20 and 30-year-old women. They have no interest in having a family. Instead, I don't know, it just seems to me like they just make bad choices. Are there people out there that take advantage of things like child support? Yes. And I feel like our country is going down this path where all these people look at their child as potentially money in their pocket. And it's just awful. We need to do something to change that. And then when you combine that with all the high prices that are out there, no wonder people want to divorce their husband and get on government assistance and child support and stuff. We need to do something different, because what we're doing now is not working at all. Blue and Classy says, as a parent, that's happened to me. I forgive because I love. Blue and Classy, I love that you're willing to forgive. That's awesome of you. But here's the question I have. Why are these kids getting so angry that they want to take anything out on their parents? I think a lot of times the young kids are so spoiled, but they just don't know it. It's a blessing if you have a room to lay your head in at night, right? If you have your own bed, if you have a house, if you have food in your stomach. Those are things that not everybody in the world has. And I just feel like a lot of these kids are super spoiled. There's nothing in the world that says you should be guaranteed full access to Wi-Fi and an Apple iPhone and this, that, and the other. I don't know where these young people get off. And then when you listen to young people as they get in their 20s, they talk down about us. They call us boomers and they make it sound like we're out of touch. But every time I hear them talk, these people are out of touch. And again, in case you're wondering who I'm talking about, I'm predominantly talking about people that are age 30 and less. They're just off their rocker. And now that their parents, their teenage kids, are just as crazy as they are. At Fraser says, I wonder what those girls have seen in their lives that would lead to them doing this to their mother. So that's the wild card, Fraser. We're thinking that the mom is normal, just enjoying her right to turn off Wi-Fi to save some money. But for all we know, she could be the evil stepmother type that just irks these kids every single day. And this could have been that straw that broke the camel's back. What if they absolutely need to study for a test? Otherwise, they're not going to graduate. I mean, I'm not saying that's what it is, but I'm just saying there could be a weird situation. This mom, we could end up finding out that she's abusive, that she's been torturing these kids. But based on what the neighbor said, it sounds to me like they're just kind of the animal house of the neighborhood. One of our newer members, Micah Stubblefield, you might see his name in our comments. He has a YouTube channel where he's actually in a contest with himself where he wants to either sell $1 million worth of eBay products and different things online, or get 1 million subscribers, whatever comes first. Now, I don't know if he'll ever hit either of those two goals, but Micah, if you just try your darndest, what if you end up hitting those? Or those are goals that are so lofty that even if you only make it halfway to your goal, that would still be outstanding. So Venters, go to Michael Stubblefield's channel and check it out. I think you'll like it. Same with AZ Raccoon and any other Venters. If you guys have channels, let us know in the comment section. I don't have any problem if people want to check out your channel. You're a Venter, they're a Venter. They might absolutely love what it is you have to say. And also, I salute you, because you and I both know that having your own YouTube channel is a whole set of responsibilities. Everybody loves watching YouTube, including YouTube creators. But once you start creating your own channel and your own content, you don't get to enjoy watching YouTube as much. So I do salute you, Micah, AZ Raccoon, other people that have a channel. I wish you well. Don't ever stop. Keep going. If you're having trouble strategizing with your channel, that's what the walk is for, right? Take a walk. Figure out a way to pay bills. Figure a way to make your YouTube channel better. Figure a way that you can invest back into it. This goes the same for your diet and exercise plan. If you've hit a plateau, let's take it to the next level. Join me in these last couple weeks of not having any sugar. I've been inviting people every day, join me on this no sugar blitz. But nobody says, yeah, I'm with you. Why is that? It's because we as humans enjoy our sweets. But I'm glad that I gave it up again. I forgot how powerful it can be when you're eating sugar all the time. But you know what else is powerful? A daily walk. If you're walking all the time, you're a calorie burning machine. I can do this, you can do this, we can do this. Let's do this again tomorrow. I'll see you then.